It's the first round of the NCAA tournament between West Virginia and Butler this evening. Welcome inside the Selleck Bowl in Indianapolis under the lights with some mist coming down and swirling all over the bowl. It is time for first round coverage alongside Nick Gardner. I'm Mark Minner. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. There are the Butler Bulldogs out of the Big East Conference, 11-6-2 this season with an at-large berth, taking on the West Virginia Mountaineers with a record of 9-8-2. They advanced with a phenomenal run in the MAC Conference tournament, won 3 games. And these two teams squaring off a date with Marshall on the line on Sunday. Nick, for West Virginia, you look at the up and down roller coaster season they've had, and they finished strong. And one of the big reasons they limited goals for the opponents in that tournament.
Yeah, and that's Stephen Takaski. And you look at the tale of the last 2 months for the Mountaineers, right, Mark? October was trouble. Allowed 17 goals in a 5-match span and went winless in those 5 matches. You look at the last month of November 2nd through the 17th, allowed just 3 goals in 5 matches, 3-1-1, and a big reason is because of that young man right there, Stephen Takaski. 6 shutouts, that's number 1 in the MAC Conference.
Several Bulldogs will be looking to attack Takaski today, but the talented freshman in Cabrera, my goodness, what a season he had.
He is young, a freshman for Paul Snape's crew, but he doesn't play that way. He's all about the team. He's selfless. The 2019 Big East Freshman of the Year, second team All-Big East player. He's got 8 goals, 19 points on the season, and he's clutch too, Mark. 6 game-winning goals for that young man, the freshman. That leads the Big East. That's 3rd in all of the NCAA, and Butler has played in a lot of tight matches. And so they'll look for their young freshman who doesn't play anything like his age tonight in a big game.
Well, here we go under the lights. The first round of the NCAA tournament. Butler and West Virginia coming your way next, right here on the Big East Digital Network.
Coach of West Virginia in his 14th year is Marlon LeBlanc.
When we started our journey, we had no idea where it would lead us. Until we found a place where experiences became a way of life, and connections became unbreakable bonds. For us, it's a second home, and wherever we roam, it will always be a part of us. The place we became Mountaineers.
We aren't just dreamers. We're doers.
My time. None of you people can tell me to stop.
Good things happen when you unleash a Butler Bulldog.
My time. None of you people can tell me to stop.
Well, this is what it's all about, the start of the NCAA tournament, the first round between Butler and West Virginia. The winner gets to take on Marshall, the 11 seed, on Sunday out in Huntington, West Virginia. Interesting storylines for both these two teams. Obviously, West Virginia, the proximity between those two schools, but Butler and Marshall, two programs that know each other very well. They've played each other in back-to-back years. Their coaching staffs are very familiar, so it'll be an interesting opportunity on Sunday for one of these two teams. But, Nick, you look at the storyline for these teams. Obviously, the Butler Bulldogs, we talked about Wilmer Cabrera, but Jared Timmer and some of these veteran players like Brandon Gould, who have really worked in some close games this year to be resilient and put themselves in this position.
Yeah, 7 overtime games, just 2 of those ended in draws in the regular season for the Butler Bulldogs, and so they've played in tight situations. They've played in tight games. They've been resilient. They've let in early goals and been able to come back and fight back, and they've been playing some of their best soccer of the season, Mark. They dropped a really tough game in penalty kicks to the Georgetown Hoyas. You know, we all know the prowess that Hoya squad has. So the Dogs come in here with some momentum in the NCAA tournament.
West Virginia team, as we catalog, that really struggled. They went 0-4-1 in conference play. They play out of the MAC. Again, the Big 12 does not have, a lot of folks know familiar with West Virginia, but the Big 12 without men's soccer. So West Virginia playing out of the MAC, and they went on an incredible run. And that's a terrific conference. You think about the likes of Akron and Western Michigan. They had to go on the road and play at SIUE to be able to put themselves in this position tonight.
Well, they did. Not just, the results were remarkable having come off that rough October, but the travels too this team had to face. They had to, crisscross across the Midwest in ways. They played in some really tough conditions, and they were able to get 3 wins in the MAC tournament to earn their bid.
Beat Bowling Green in a final match that put them in this position. West Virginia in the dark blue uniforms, and the kits for the Bulldogs, the home whites with the stripe. Under the lights inside the Selleck Bowl. Actually a little bit warmer than folks anticipated here today. The wind has died down at times, but right now it is swirling across the bowl, and a light mist rains down on this first-round matchup.
Yeah, that wind will pick up at times. It's kind of gusty, but this is brisk, warm weather compared to what the Mountaineers had faced in that MAC tournament action.
And West Virginia, who has been far more aggressive over the last stretch of games, Nick, that they had traditionally played it through the back. But now you're seeing a lot more direct balls played in and not really playing the time of possession.
And in turn, their defense has stepped up as well, Mark. We mentioned it in the lead-in, gave up 17 goals in that 5-game stretch. They've really righted that ship, just allowed 3 goals in their last 5 matches, and that's allowed them the opportunity here to compete.
There's Alex Lettinen. Lettinen has been an absolute grinder throughout his career at Butler. Native of Finland, has come over, has had just injuries all over, but finds a way to fight through. They're playing him a little bit more up the field. He's played along that left side throughout his career, but been more of a left back.
Yeah, and you hate to see that early in his NCAA tournament action. We'll have to track that along the left side for Paul Snape's crew.
Here's Lettinen again. This time pushing it past Garcia Herreros. Garcia Herreros, the senior. This is a veteran crew from West Virginia. They brought 7 seniors back this season.
Well, again, this was a team that had high expectations.
Paul Snape, head coach for the Butler Bulldogs, in his 9th season in charge of the program, 81, 63, and 26. This is the 3rd at-large berth that they've had in 16, 17, and this is the 3rd NCAA tournament berth, 2 at-larges under his tenure, and Bulldogs playing their 9th NCAA tournament, 3rd at-large as a program. Here's a shot in, but there was a whistle early, and we're going to get an early look from what the Mountaineers can bring forward. Ball played in. And let's see the contact on this. There's a hand.
There's your handball and an early penalty kick here for the Mountaineers.
See Takata in there. And now an early opportunity for the Mountaineers, who have been very good with the lead. Here's a goal, and the Mountaineers strike first. It was Robles Guerrera was able to knock it in. And West Virginia is on the board an early strike in this first round matchup. Boy, what a costly.
Man, Georgie, he guessed correctly, Mark. And you can see he thought he should have had it. Got a hand on it. But you can see the power. You'll see. Georgie guesses correctly. It wasn't tight to the corner. He almost overjumped it, didn't he? A goal nonetheless for the Mountaineers here in the early going at the Selleck Bowl.
Robles Grajera, the freshman from Spain, has led the team with 7 goals. Second best freshman in the MAC, and now the Bulldogs will have to respond. This is a West Virginia team that is 7-0 this season when scoring first.
Well, Coach Snape has talked often about the resiliency of this Bulldog bunch, and they're going to have to show that here tonight if they want to survive and advance in the NCAA tournament.
The 8th goal of the season for Rodrigo, and what a timely one. It's one thing to look at the record of West Virginia in that stretch where they had a lot of self-inflicted goals, and Coach LeBlanc has talked about that, but it's another thing to ride that momentum, and he said the team never gave up throughout the year. That when it's easy for a team to fold when you have those high expectations and then you don't perform up to par, but my goodness, they have responded, and they are carrying that momentum here into Indianapolis to start with a 1-0 lead less than 5 minutes in. We talk a lot about Tekeski, but you mentioned Gabriel Georgie, the keeper for the Bulldogs, who's having a much improved season from a year ago. Also gotten some great support from the defense, and foul, though, that put Lettinen down, and then a turnover on the handball, and just a great kick by the leading goal scorer.
Hard to argue the decision. Either hand was extended away from the body. It clearly struck it.
Well, now the question is, how does Butler respond? As here's a ball played up that right side. Crosses in, and Butler there to swarm all over it. Defensively, the Bulldogs have been really helped by Reese Myers, the 2019 Big East All-Tournament team selection, and a player who was a junior college transfer from Eastern Florida State, and he has brought that tough edge, named a captain early on in his tenure.
Yeah, just his first season with the Dogs, and he has had an immediate impact, Mark. As you said, it's the mentality, the edginess, the toughness that he brings to help what has been a really good defensive group for Paul Snape.
Well, West Virginia setting something up, disrupted by the Bulldogs. If you're watching a game at the Selleck Bowl for the first time, very unique venue with this near side, how close the bleachers and the brick wall is to the sideline. And now Cabrera setting something up on the run. Gould and Cabrera, the 2 leading goal scorers for the Bulldogs this season. Here's the freshman Cabrera playing it back. Jack Haywood, haven't talked enough about him yet, as the Bulldogs are really setting up their first action.
Yeah, Haywood has led the team in assists, just outside of the top 10 in the country. He's been superb and solid there for the Bulldogs. And now you see Butler trying to settle in, control the ball a little bit. Give that defense a break.
And here's a look inside of what we're talking about, Nick. How close, a beautiful view this evening, but it is right up against that sideline.
That near sideline, you can't really see, but it's no more. Here's a good opportunity.
Oh, and the Bulldogs with an equalizer early. Lettinen puts one into Gould. No, it's waved off offsides. And you can see the frustration on Gould. He was set up from that. Let's take another look at that.
That flag was up early. We'll get another look to see.
And
tough to tell from that angle. A nice through ball. You saw the West Virginia defense trying to press up and get that flag in the air.
Here's Harvey. Harvey will toss it back to Perrin Barnes, who's had to come into a big role. The true freshman, Perrin Barnes from Aurora, Illinois. And with some injuries to Griffin DeBolt and sitting out a yellow card, you've seen Barnes continue to get more time back there at the center back spot. Here's Jared Timmer. Jared Timmer, a journeyman leader for this Bulldog squad, has fought through a number of injuries and has been an impact player since he started. Here's Lettinen. Bulldogs keep the pressure on Harvey and Lettinen, and Harvey couldn't quite slide that one there, but Timmer able to keep it alive, takes a shot on goal wide left. Jared Timmer, the redshirt senior from Hudsonville, Michigan.
Here you see, it was a deflected ball on that attempted or nullified goal. That's his last touch, and he was on. So it was tough to see that deflection, Mark, while the play was live. Dogs have taken much more control. You've seen them be able to get up that right side and get some opportunities on goal after giving up that initial one.
One of the things we heard from the coaching staff at Butler is, we've got to be great on the counter. We've got to also be able to, as they start to play the direct ball downfield more, we've got to be able to get our speed as an advantage. And you figure guys like Cabrera, you've seen a couple of runs as they brought it back quickly.
Yeah, that's something Coach Snape really wanted to emphasize, is win that initial ball, but also win that second ball so you can possess it and counterattack.
Timmer. And this is a veteran defensive core for West Virginia as well. You look at Logan Lucas and Kevin Morris as the two center backs. There's a look at Louis Bolger. Bolger was born in Japan, spent a lot of his life here in the States, and part of the Columbus Crew Academy program.
Yeah, you mentioned the experience of this Mountaineer bunch, Mark. We talked about the high expectations, and a lot of that is because you've got one player that started 70 matches, 3 players with over 60 starts, 6 players who've started 50. So you've got a veteran group, and they're looking to capitalize off of the run they were able to make in the MAC tournament.
Well, Butler is starting to settle in after that initial goal by West Virginia. If you're just joining us, Robles Grajera, after a hand in the box, got a beautiful kick to the left side of the net and able to take the early lead just a few minutes in.
About 2.5 minutes in, 3.5 minutes into this game. And if you're the Mountaineers, you couldn't have asked for a better start. I mean, you're coming off a tough week in which you performed well, but you really wanted to try and take advantage. They did just that.
Gould could not get there. Lettinen put a beauty in there.
Oh, just a beautiful ball from the left side. You see it sweeping across the 6 there. Just out of the reach.
Butler, one of 4 Big East teams that are playing in the NCAA tournament. Only one other team tonight. That's Providence. They've got a matchup against NJIT. The winner will take on Penn State. You've got St. John's and Georgetown, 2 terrific programs getting on the seed line. And they will play in that second round. A Big East, such tough competition night in, night out.
And Butler coming off a loss in the Big East semifinals where they were able to score 2 goals against Georgetown.
Something that was very difficult for other teams to do this season.
Extremely tough for other oppositions to do. So the Dogs trying to carry that momentum and those tests that they endured in the Big East Conference season into this NCAA tournament.
Harvey controls for the Bulldogs out of that left back position again with Lettinen being moved upfield. Harvey slides over further to the left side. And now a ball played up to Haywood. Gould will try and track it down, but One of the other changes that the Bulldogs really tinkered with this season, as the center backs converge for the Bulldogs, Mountaineers trying to set something up here. Passed out to the right side. McCormick comes in. McCormick, the freshman who's been terrific out of Derby, England. Had a big-time header in that MAC tournament championship. Here's McCormick working around Harvey. Harvey trying to disrupt. McCormick gets it in momentarily, but then it's knocked out by Myers.
Saw the pace of McCormick. They were able to kind of stretch it out and use that speed to get around the defender. Harvey did a good job of staying with it, knocking it out of play. First corner we'll see tonight.
Only one shot registered by Butler. Here's a corner coming for the Mountaineers. Ball played up, and it is knocked out by Georgie. Bulldogs looking to counter. Here's Cabrera up the left side. Cabrera in a foot race, and it's knocked out. Great defensive play. Garcia Herreros able to let his team retreat back.
That's where Coach Snape and the Dogs really want to try and take advantage on those counters. That last touch just got away from Cabrera and allowed the defense to poke it away.
And a yellow card has come out. Louis Bolger took the brunt of it. Let's take one more look at that one, Nick.
The official has presented a yellow card to West Virginia's number 14, Tsubasa Takada.
Very late by Takada there on that challenge.
And Bolger looks to be good. He's been a staple in the starting lineup. Had 11 starts last season as a freshman. He started now all 20 games for the Bulldogs this season. Tsubasa Takada, the junior from Japan, picking up the yellow. And here's what we're talking about.
That's exactly right, Mark. That you win the ball in the air and you're able to put it back towards your goal. But then it's that second ball that you need to win that Coach Snape was really concerned about. As you see, the Mountaineers are going to try and pump a lot of those balls in deep. Win that initial one. Now, can you win the second one and take advantage?
Well, with the way these two teams are playing, it's shaping up to be a fun, fast-paced NCAA first-round game. And this matchup, the first between these two programs. Steven Tukeski, a junior from Missouri, just 5'10", but he is fourth all-time in Mountaineer school history with 26 wins. They had a phenomenal season, one of the best seasons in program history a year ago. And Tukeski, a big part of that. But MAC tournament team MVP here this year. 11 saves, 5 of those coming in the championship match against Bowling Green.
It's remarkable. We've said it a bunch, Mark. Think about it. A 5-game stretch in October where you allow 17 goals and go winless. And then you move to November, just 3 goals allowed. You're 3-1-1. You find yourself, after going winless in conference play, here in the NCAA tournament.
And you reinvent yourself.
It's just remarkable. And I think it's a credit to those guys that have played through a lot. They didn't want to go out like that, a lot of them, right? They had high expectations, went through some injuries, some other things that you become unlucky. You get a bad bounce here and there, and it all starts to pile on, and then you're able to recover and find yourself with a chance to win a championship.
Here is Cabrera on the run, and the Mountaineers will take over. But Cabrera has a freshman, as you see running down there. Well, he has some speed as an attacking mid. There is Cabrera as just a freshman, and you think about the way he plays and carries himself, and you talked earlier, Nick, about some of the comments from Coach Snape and what the players think about working with him, but the poise down the stretch in some of these big matches to be able to to come up with the timely spot. 6 game-winning goals this season.
It's remarkable.
You see David Goldsmith there to the left of Paul Snape. That's who Coach Snape was comparing him to. Goldsmith, one of the best Butler soccer players of all time.
Yeah, former Big East player, freshman of the year as well, I should say, and the poise with which the freshman shows, it's remarkable.
Here's an opportunity, crossed up and saved. Was that Harvey who got a head on it, I believe?
Yeah, that back post was wide open for the Mountaineers, and a great job by Joel Harvey to stay on the line and head that ball away.
Boy, what an unbelievable save by Harvey. They lost their mark.
Yeah, you see Grajera wide open on that back post, and look at Harvey right there on the line to head it away and head it clear of goal, away from the danger.
Robles Grajera has had several of the key moments. What a save, Georgie. Good morning.
Whoa, what a ball as well to create the opportunity for the Mountaineers, and some power on that attempt, that shot on goal, and an excellent job by Georgie.
You got Harvey on the save on the attempt from Kellogg, and then DiMatteo with the quick shot in, and Georgie the reaction. Boy, that is a big-time moment. He's obviously given up 1 goal in this one, but he saved a couple now, and so has Harvey. Well, now the Bulldogs have to reset. There was a span of about 15 minutes or so where Butler had really controlled possession, unable to convert.
Yeah, they were able to get up the right side of the pitch there and get some opportunities. Had a couple nice balls across the 6, just not able to get anything on goal, and then West Virginia answered quickly, didn't they, Mark?
They sure did, and you're right, Butler just 1 shot in this game. It was not on goal. Here's Timmer and Harvey.
As you said, the way the Mountaineers kind of reinvented themselves, they don't worry about possession. They just want to try and get it and try and strike quickly by attacking with long balls up the pitch. Here's a giveaway.
And DiMatteo had it pried away on the quick left foot of Barnes. Let's look at these defensive plays, Nick. First, the quick one, the save, Harvey off Kellogg. And then DiMatteo quickly on the header in, and Georgie with a swift reaction.
You can see the delivery from the wide sides of the pitch has been really good for West Virginia. They've been able to serve up some really nice balls for their attackers.
And folks inside the bowl calling for a handball on that one. The Bulldogs trying to get anything on goal. It's going to be a corner coming. And this will be Joel Harvey to head over. Takes a lot of the left-footed corners for the Bulldogs. West Virginia leading Butler in the first round 1-0. Bulldogs only 1 shot. It was not on target. 3 shots for West Virginia, all on goal. Here's Harvey. Harvey lines this one up, played into the box, and it's in! Knocked in, Reese Myers with the equalizer.
We just talked about services into the box, and how about that one from Harvey? Just a beautiful ball towards the far post.
Oh, what a beautiful header in from the captain, a transfer. Reese Myers with his first goal of the season.
What a time for that.
And that'll get the Bulldog fans going on this chilly Thursday evening. Well, I can't say enough about what Reese Myers has brought to the Bulldogs this season.
His toughness, right, his edginess, and now he comes up, what a time. to find the net for the first time here this season. And again, what a delivery, what service from Joel Harvey.
Well, Joel Harvey has been a big piece of this equation early on. And that is the thing about this West Virginia team. They are going to be pesky, sneaky, and strike quickly. That has been the MO over the last few games. Here's another opportunity. Thwarted. The left foot of Barnes. Haywood tries to jump at it. And now it's going to be Garcia Herreros to play it up. Georgie will put it out of the sky. 1-1. Now Gould all alone down that left side. Here's Lettinen. Lettinen working forward, trying to fight through some traffic. Takes it away, plays it out to Gould. Brandon Gould lays it into Lettinen, but it's put back out. That was Kevin Morris. Timmer has been so important. I was going to make that point earlier. Timmer missed the first 10 games of the season and comes back. They played him up a little bit further than he's used to. He got settled back as they were out on the road at Creighton. And that defensive mid where he's been so dynamic for the Bulldogs brings a physicality. Here's an opportunity for Gould up ahead, and it rolls into Tekeski.
Just a little too much pace on that delivery. Was able to get to Tekeski. But you can see the life now in the Bulldogs. Really both teams. I mean, West Virginia puts it right back up and gets a couple of opportunities inside the box. And as you said, Mark, this game started off quick with that early goal, and it's going to be a fast-paced game the rest of the way, it looks like.
Yeah, and Reese Myers making sure that one got out of there. Giving the Bulldogs a chance to set up. And the Mountaineers have been lurking inside the 18 on multiple occasions, and it seems like every time they've gotten near the 6, they've had an opportunity.
That's the thing. They've taken advantage. When they linger up there, they get shots, and they've gotten shots on goal as well, Mark. They've got quality attempts.
And how about that? A quick corner in there. Man, it'll be another one. But you're right.
Well, and there's been times where there's been some marking issues. We saw on the save by Harvey on the goal line. A wide open Mountaineer. There's another save by Georgie. Again. You're right. They're working quickly, though, are the Mountaineers, Mark. Just a quick corner. Kind of skipping through the box. And it got all the way to Takata.
And this has been a theme, too. You see the Bulldogs just playing direct balls down there as well.
Yeah, not much sitting back in possession in this match.
Not in the least. Ball played in. Nifty behind the back attempt. Georgie with another one. Georgie, 83 saves coming into this match, and Georgie near the top 10 in the country in that category. First among all Big East keepers. Haywood. The Bulldogs like to play through him. We haven't seen as much of that in this match. Here's Lettinen with Harvey streaking down the left side. Harvey with an opportunity, but it's pulled away by Morris. Timmer. Back out. If you're just joining us, West Virginia getting on the board within the first few minutes. Robles Grajera, after the handball, able to knock it in. And the Bulldogs countering on a corner kick. The first shot on goal they had goes in. It was the first goal for Reese Myers. The Mountaineers trying to build numbers. Takana. And Lettinen just lost it off the right foot. Kind of trying to take advantage. Plays it back out. Garcia Herreros has it taken away. Baron Barnes, the true freshman back there.
Yeah, Barnes did a great job there supporting his teammate towards the middle, recovered to his marker, and then just stuck him.
Number 10, Andre Muriel Albino. For number 8, Pau Jimenez Albalda.
Well, there you see, Mark, a good shot of what we talked about earlier, the tight quarters here at the Selleck Bowl along that near sideline.
Muriel Albino checks in for West Virginia. And now the Bulldogs with Haywood building. Nice touch by Haywood. Here's Sutton. Sutton to the right side. Cabrera. Bulldogs and the Mountaineers locked at one. Toss in. Haywood trying to keep it in. Going to get it back out. Harvey. Sutton. Sutton with a strike. Hits over the top. Boy, Sutton lined that one up. Big right foot.
Harvey did a good job of controlling it, and Sutton had the space.
Bulldog substitution.
And we haven't talked a lot about Derek Sutton, but Sutton, a senior from Waterloo, started all 19 matches this season. One of 4 players to start every match. And a goal earlier this season against DePaul, but he is one of those tenacious players for Butler that just always brings the moxie out onto the pitch.
Well, as you can tell, we've said that a lot about this team, about individuals on this Bulldog team. And when you put a collection of those guys together, you're going to have a resilient group who never thinks they're out of it. They're not going to give in. If they do, give up an early goal in any match, and that's rang true throughout the season. It certainly has tonight thus far.
Here is Logan Lee subbing in for Alex Lettinen. Logan Lee, the sophomore from Fort Wayne, Indiana. He is a forward who loves to get in space. And offsides. There is Lee. Had 3 goals as a freshman a season ago. Picked up a goal against Evansville earlier this season on September 2nd. And that was in a beginning of a stretch where the Bulldogs really were without several of their key players due to injury. Of course, we mentioned Timmer missed the first 10 games, but Logan and a lot of other players like Hicks and company have had to step up early and often, and it's built some strength, according to Coach Snape, for those key guys off the bench when they've had to come in these big moments, close, contested matches throughout the season.
And you're talking about stretches early in the season where they're playing a really difficult portion of the schedule for the Dogs, right? Where you had some matchups against Indiana, against nationally ranked opponents, top 10 teams, where they were having to weather the storm a little bit injury-wise, and that really built some of the depth that Coach Snape has this year.
Harvey looking to throw it in. School who gets it out to Haywood. Jack Haywood talking to the staff. One of those players that just hasn't really had a bad game. Been so consistent for the Bulldogs this season. 3rd team all Big East. And Coach Snape says, without question, one of the top midfielders in the conference. Logan Lee up the left side. Lee centers it up. And it was off of Gould. Lee now fighting for it against Garcia Herreros. Haywood swings it out to the right side. This is what we've seen a lot of after that initial goal by the Mountaineers. Bulldogs have been building numbers. West Virginia hasn't necessarily. They've just been going after it. Quick strikes.
You've seen the Dogs able to use some of that speed to their advantage on their counters. Being able to switch the field, use the width of the pitch. That'll be a goal kick.
Now you're seeing Sutton pleading his case down there.
This is an approachable officiating crew.
Shane Butler wearing the orange.
But they were not hearing it that time, were they?
No, they were not. Good play by Bolger. They get it back out to Lee. Bulldogs will go back, run it through Barnes. Harvey has been integral to how they've set up their offense. Again, Lettinen playing a little bit more forward. Here's a ball down. Cabrera gets it knocked loose. Good touch. Andres Yope over in that left back position. Another one of the seniors on that defensive line.
Yeah, it was a really nice diagonal ball to get it to Cabrera's feet. And that's where, Mark, the West Virginia defense is. We talked about that string of goals where Tekeski was kind of on an island at times, and that's really where the Mountaineers have improved with that back line, giving him more support and just not giving up some easy opportunities, which they did throughout that stretch.
Man, there's going to be a sub coming in for the Mountaineers. 1-1, Butler and West Virginia in this first-round matchup. Winner will take on Marshall on Sunday.
Pineda. 4-9, Rodrigo Robles Ferreira.
Jimenez Albena back in for the Mountaineers. Harvey back to Barnes. Haywood turns it up for Harvey. Harvey in a footrest to save it. He does. And then pulled back away by Garcia Herreros. Timmer.
Harvey did well to chase that down.
Haywood looking in for Gould. And thwarted by that Mountaineers defensive line. You look at this Virginia team. Again, they've had to win 3 straight. The 6th seed in the MAC conference tournament. First time that you've seen a MAC team and the 6th seed win the conference tournament. And you see coach sitting down. You've got Marlon LeBlanc. And there's his assistant coaching staff, Andy Wright and Nick Noble, having a quick word. LeBlanc, his 14th season in charge of the Mountaineers. 141 wins, 102 losses, and 34 draws. About 10 minutes left.
Unreal. You look at the last 8-10 minutes of this match, Mark. Butler has really controlled the possession. And it's limited the opportunities for the Mountaineers to push it up the pitch, as they're doing so now.
Garcia Herreros plays it back. Morris quickly. Garcia Herreros on the cross, and it is knocked away by Harvey, but it hit off of Lee. So now Takeda able to keep it alive for the Mountaineers. And they have not been patient. Strikes like that in the corner, West Virginia back on top. And to Kenna, you can see with the quick look over into the corner, as we said, they have not been patient. What a beautiful strike to take the lead. Like Real Albino. Andres with his 7th goal of the season. Came in off the bench today. And Muriel Albino, who had been injured down the stretch here in the season, fought back.
And that was
Mountaineer
just a
goal
beautifully
number
placed
10,
strike.
Andre
Opened the hips up on that
Albino.
left side.
On the assist from 14, Tsubasa
And
Takada.
tucked it into that far post, that far corner.
Substitutions for West Virginia into the game.
It was almost as
16,
if
Ethan
the
Chin.
Dogs were
For
anticipating
14,
a cross,
Tsubasa Takada.
trying to put it
For the Bulldogs.
across the face of goal, and he went right towards the back of the net.
Number 4, Derek Sutton. And
So you've had the
24,
2
Brendan
leading
Hicks.
goal
For 11,
scorers
Brandon
for
Gould.
West Virginia. Now with a 2-1 lead. Each in the column, both Spaniards. And now with 8:44 left before the half, now Butler back in that same position of trying to equalize. Bulldogs have had 3 shots in this game, 1 on goal. On the flip side, 6 shots for West Virginia, Nick. 5 of them have been on target.
Yeah, they've been
West Virginia
extremely
substitution,
efficient, have the
25,
Mountaineers
Pascal
in their
Navarre.
attacking opportunities,
For 21,
and just
Josh
aggressive,
DiMatteo.
Mark. As we say, direct approach, trying to get it up the pitch, and then attacking the goal. And they've gotten really quality shots.
Davarich into the game, the senior from Germany. Let's see how aggressive Bulldogs get here on the counter. We've got Logan Lee coming down the left side, but just like that. Nice job by Kellogg. And how about that find in the corner for Muriel Albino? Andres, a multi-goal game against Ohio State earlier this season. Now West Virginia with the 2-1 lead. And this is a West Virginia team that over the last 4 years have a 28-1-0 record when scoring 2 goals, 2 or more goals. Only loss came back on October 18th of this year to Northern Illinois. And that was a game that frustrated the Mountaineers, where they had played well but gave up a lot of unforced errors.
Yeah, had some giveaways in the back that led to goals for Northern Illinois, and it also bodes to their change of styles, right? They used to, 2 goals was, all right, we're going to pack it in. We're going to try to get stops. They've now flipped styles a little bit, but in turn, when they score 2, tough to defeat.
The Bulldogs looking to address that quickly. Garcia Herreros playing it back. And you see Haywood. Haywood tenacious for the Bulldogs. Brendan Hicks has come in for Butler as well. A redshirt freshman from Phoenix, Arizona. And he's a bruiser. Myers dangerous. Hits it back to Georgie. And now it's one of those things in a match like this where you've got to mentally reset, Nick.
No doubt.
And not allow the frustration of giving up those 2
You've
goals
got
to cost
5.5
another.
minutes here. If you're the Butler Bulldogs, to do just that. On the flip side, if you're the Mountaineers, it's almost like you can kind of smell blood in the water here. Got the Bulldogs on their heels. A giveaway there in the back.
Logan Lee kicks this one into the 3rd row.
working along that tight sideline here at the Selleck Bowl. With 5 minutes to play here in the first half.
There's a look at Harvey as he chucks it down. Bulldogs just trying to get it out of there. Mountaineers packing it in. And now Myers, who scored the goal for the Bulldogs that tied it up at 1. I think you just see some obvious frustration there. The Bulldogs felt like they had gotten momentum back, but boy, in the blink of an eye, this West Virginia team has been dangerous.
Goal, Mark, we were talking about how Butler had really controlled possession, had done a good job of limiting the opportunities for the Mountaineers to play those direct balls. And then in the blink of an eye, West Virginia able to strike back.
4 minutes left for the end of the first half as the rain comes down a little bit harder here inside the Selleck Bowl. Haywood navigating around. Bolger. Bulldogs just keep finding themselves trapped. Trying to get it out. And substitutions.
Mountaineer substitution.
For the Mountaineers.
Brian Bond. For number 10, Andres Muriel Albino.
So Muriel Albino, who scored the second goal of the game, will sub out, and in will come Brian Bond, a freshman from Clarksburg, Maryland. And now Butler will have it. Bolger to throw it in. Under 3 to go. And West Virginia with the momentum at the moment. Harvey. Get it back out. Playing through Harvey has gotten the ball downfield for Butler. Here is an attack right at. These center backs have been busy for Butler. Timmer getting pressure. You see Tony Pineda, a sophomore from Statesville, North Carolina, transfer from High Point. Was the Big South Freshman of the Year for High Point a season ago.
And you can see West Virginia has really picked up their pressure after that second goal on their side of midfield, of the midfield line. They've really tried to press the Butler players and not allow the space in the operation in midfield for the Dogs. And it's got Butler on their heels a little bit when they're possessing the ball in that area, Mark.
Tukeski hasn't been as active as Georgie has today. Tukeski, the junior, with 2 saves on the 3 shots. Aaron Barnes out to Timmer. Timmer.
You can see the pressure.
Bringing fresh legs in, the Mountaineers keeping the pedal down. You think about a team like West Virginia that literally logged 1,500 plus miles over the past week and all the way from West Virginia to St. Louis to play SIUE and
1 minute.
Then going back out,
remaining in the half.
making their travel back, but they were doing it on 12-degree days playing and icy, snowy roads going 25 mile an hour. And the terrible weather that swept through the Midwest last week.
Just crisscrossing back and forth. So the trip to Indianapolis was a short and easy one for the Mountaineers after their travels last week.
30 seconds left here in the first half. West Virginia struck quickly and then took back the lead on the shot in the 7th goal for Muriel Albino.
Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Well, that's how the first half ends here in the first round of this NCAA tournament matchup. And you see Reese Myers, his first goal to equalize it at 1, but it was Andres Uriel Albino to give the Mountaineers the 2-1 advantage. First round coverage of the NCAA tournament here on the Big East Digital Network.
We aren't just dreamers. We're doers.
My time. None of you people can tell me to stop.
Good things happen when you unleash a Butler Bulldog.
My time. None of you people can tell me to stop.
When we started our journey, we had no idea where it would lead us. Until we found a place where experiences became a way of life, and connections became unbreakable bonds. For us, it's a second home, and wherever we roam, it will always be a part of us. The place we became Mountaineers.
When my time came to stop coaching, I was very fortunate that I didn't have to go cold turkey. I was able to start the Big East Conference, and we came across the sky like a meteor.
One recruiting year that they had that really turned everything around was the Ewan Mullen Pinckney recruiting year. It changed the face of Eastern basketball probably forever.
We just believed in ourselves and a lot of hard work on everybody's part.
Every March, Madison Square Garden is home to everything that is college basketball.
Put on your red shoes and dance the blues.
What? How's the weather? Yeah. It's snowing out. It's a blizzard, but we ain't gonna stop.
Rightly, there were questions early on about whether the Big East could withstand the test of reconfiguration, and I think if you were here, we've done that and more.
It's a monster league now. Last man standing, bring the flag. Tough to coach in, but great for spectators and great to play in. The march of the Big East goes on.
We aren't just dreamers. We're doers.
My time. None of you people can tell me to stop.
Good things happen when you unleash a Butler Bulldog.
My time. None of you people can tell me to stop.
When we started our journey, we had no idea where it would lead us. Until we found a place where experiences became a way of life, and connections became unbreakable bonds. For us, it's a second home, and wherever we roam, it will always be a part of us. The place we became Mountaineers.
One of the positives about the sports business in the last couple of years, and in recent years in particular, has been the growing interest in seeing our industry become a more diverse and inclusive place.
I find it important for us to amplify the voices of those who have not traditionally had a seat at the table. As a Black African woman, my various social identities are always at the forefront of my daily interactions, from my first name, my culture, to where I'm from. So for me, diversity is about us celebrating our uniqueness as a society.
A lot of what happens in terms of diversifying workforce in the college world happens at the campus level. That's really where the core hiring takes place. The schools are responsible for hiring their directors of athletics, their staffs, their coaches. And so the conference is really a step away from that activity, but I think conferences can and should set a tone. And so in the Big East, we have tried to make diversity and inclusion a conference strategic priority. We have, for example, within our conference SAC group, designated a diversity and inclusion officer. D&I has become an important topic of discussion at SAC meetings. And our D&I officer is now included into the conference-wide diversity and inclusion working group that we've created.
I currently serve as the conference's Student Athlete Advisory Committee's Diversity and Inclusion Officer. This position is charged with ensuring that the conference carries out its commitment to inclusion for all. And I assist the conference staff in creating opportunities for student athletes from different backgrounds to come together to share and exchange ideas. I also work closely with the Big East Diversity and Inclusion Working Group.
You know, when I think about diversity, I think about the fact that diversity is a fact. When we think about inclusion, we think about inclusion being a choice. And I think if we can succeed in anything at the Big East is to impress upon everyone how inclusion isn't just a choice but a responsibility.
The Big East is committed to continuing the development of programs and initiatives that support diverse and inclusive environments for our student athletes, coaches, staff, and communities.
We aren't just dreamers. We're doers.
My time. None of you people can tell me to stop.
Good things happen when you unleash a Butler Bulldog.
My time. None of you people can tell me to stop.
When we started our journey, we had no idea where it would lead us. Until we found a place where experiences became a way of life, and connections became unbreakable bonds. For us, it's a second home, and wherever we roam, it will always be a part of us. The place we became Mountaineers.
We welcome you back inside the Selleck Bowl. It's first round action of the NCAA tournament between Butler and West Virginia with Nick Gardner and our Big East Digital Network crew, Mark Minner. Glad to have you join us at the half. It's 2-1. West Virginia leading Butler. How did we get here, Nick? And under the rain, a chilly Thursday evening. And these two teams set to square off. Butler with the at-large bid, and it didn't take long. A handball there from Myers. And it set up an opportunity. And there you see the freshman, Robles Grajera, able to punch it through, and hard for Georgie to even get a hand on that one. But then this moment, Nick, as the Bulldogs looked to counter shortly thereafter.
Yeah, the flag was up. Offsides was a ruling. So no goal for Brandon Gould. You see the first yellow card of the match. And then it really picked up, Mark.
Harvey on the back line with a big save after the Bulldogs lost their mark, and then Georgie right after a shot from DiMatteo. This was the corner kick from Harvey, put through by Myers. A little bit of redemption there after that first moment. His first goal of the season. Sutton with a big opportunity. Just a little high on top of the crossbar. And then again, Muriel Albino able to slide this in on the back line. What a tough play with the right foot. And Georgie, nothing he could do to try and grab that one.
Yeah, just the placement was perfect there. And that's the difference. We talked, Mark, how the Mountaineers were able to really attack and get good shots on goal. See 6 shots on goal to Butler's 4. A couple saves for the Bulldogs defensively. A couple extra corners for the Mountaineers, and they were able to do it by, again, they were attacking. Direct balls up the pitch. Really, that early goal set the tone, forced Butler to be resilient and come back. And then at the end of the half, Mark, they were able to attack in that high pressure and really keeping the Bulldogs on the Mountaineers side of the pitch. Really kept Butler on their heels. You saw some giveaways, the Dogs unable to clear the ball, unable to get it going and use their speed for those counterattacks, and that was really the key and will be a key, I think, for West Virginia and the Dogs. Again, tighten up that defense and capitalize on some more of those opportunities as we saw the Mountaineers do in that first half.
We did see one of the storylines. Reese Myers, the captain for the Bulldogs, the junior college transfer from Eastern Florida State. Here was the play early on within the first few minutes. It was a handball that led to the goal from Robles Grajera, and you can see the just dismay early on in this one. And then how about some redemption?
Well, just
look at that.
He that's what he does for Paul Snape's group, right? Myers does a great job of being stout in the back, and that time he had given the early goal up, and so made amends by putting one in for the Dogs to answer.
Well, the teams make their way back out to the Selleck Bowl. The rain is subsiding, and halftime is nearing its conclusion. West Virginia leading 2-1 in this first round. A trip to the second round out in West Virginia against Marshall on the line when we come back on the Big East Digital Network.
We aren't just dreamers. We're doers.
My time. None of you people can tell me to stop.
Good things happen when you unleash a Butler Bulldog.
My time. None of you people can tell me to stop.
When we started our journey, we had no idea where it would lead us. Until we found a place where experiences became a way of life, and connections became unbreakable bonds. For us, it's a second home, and wherever we roam, it will always be a part of us. The place we became Mountaineers.
Beautiful setting in Indianapolis as the rain is subsiding, but you can see the mist under the lights inside the Selleck Bowl. Alongside Nick Gardner, Mark Minner with you. It is 2-1. West Virginia leads in this first round of the NCAA tournament. Winner will take on the 11 seed Marshall, who has had a terrific year. And the Bulldogs very familiar with Marshall. Fell to him earlier this season, beat him a season ago. And obviously the geography between West Virginia and Marshall. A trip in the second round of the NCAA tournament on the line for these two teams. West Virginia has been active early and often in this one, riding a 3-win streak in the MAC tournament as the 6th seed after going 0-4-1 in conference play. To be able to advance, here's a shot into Georgie, and she secures. This is the 14th NCAA tournament appearance for West Virginia, the 9th for the Bulldogs.
Well, it'd be interesting to see, Mark, that second half. West Virginia really took control after the go-ahead goal. It was a much different game for the final few minutes, the way they were able to pressure and control things. And let's see if Butler can regroup in the locker room and come out more aggressive as they were with the middle part of that first half.
That is one thing you know about Coach Snape, Coach Brew, Perry, and they know how to motivate their team. One thing they talked about last season was a disappointing season. They took the accountability for that year, and this year it's been so important to make sure that people understand the connection and the purpose to what they're trying to ask each individual and the team to do. It's paid off. 7 overtime matches that they've been in, an at-large berth, top 25 RPI.
And again, they've been resilient. You know, you give up a PK just over 2 minutes into the match, and then they really took control towards the middle part. You give up that go-ahead goal with about 10 minutes left in that first half. But other than, that's really the very end of the first and the beginning of the first half. For the most part of it, it was Butler's game. Just weren't able to take advantage of those opportunities. On the other side, the Mountaineers were able to do so.
Bulger playing it up the right side. Now you get a look at Sutton. Sutton, one of the seniors for this Bulldog squad alongside Jared Timmer, redshirt senior who has battled injuries throughout his career and a stress fracture, and to miss 10 games this season early on. And he's not even at full strength or fitness. He's only gotten better as the season has gone on. Tough to pick up right in the middle of the season after being out for a couple of months. There's Harvey. Lettinen back in. Alex took a tough hit early in this one. Lettinen did a really nice job right after, in that kind of 10-minute stretch after the initial goal by West Virginia, trying to set up teammates. You saw that one that was called back offsides, where Gould was in the lead. Was on a pretty feed there from Lettinen. Here is Lettinen. Now Cabrera. Well over the top of the crossbar. The freshman, Wilmer Cabrera Jr., 2019 Big East Freshman of the Year. Second team all Big East. Second on the team with 8 goals scored. That's 4th in the Big East. A Big East conference that got 4 different teams in. Georgetown advancing. And on that 3 seed, you had St. John's as a seeded team, and then Providence playing as an at-large winner tonight.
You can see the Dogs just being a little more aggressive, trying to get more opportunities on goal. Cabrera really wasn't looking towards goal in that area of the field in the first half. He does there. Here's a foul in the midfield.
McCormick getting up slowly. Luke McCormick, the freshman, has really settled into an American style. Myers giving chase. And you can see Reese in pain. One of the tougher players. Coach Snape said he's had the pleasure to work, especially on those short recovery runs.
You can see this was kind of a 50-50 ball. Both players going hard towards it. Oh, he just took a knee right to the hip. So he was just a little tardy getting to that ball, and he's still down. So training staff will come take a look at him.
And at that right center back for the Bulldogs, the junior from Nottingham, England. Let's take another look at that one, Nick. He has been all over for the Bulldogs.
You see Greg Taylor and staff out there to take a look at Reese. And that's a full-fledged knee on a follow-through of a player going towards kind of a 50-50 ball that both guys thought they had a right to. And that's just, it looks like it's kind of at the front of his thigh maybe, almost. You hope it's not something with his bone, and it may be, that could be like a Charlie horse mark or a really tight. Butler able to just deflect that corner out in front of the near post. So another one here for the Mountaineers. You can see Myers just trying to stretch that right hip.
Cabrera's got it. Leads it forward. McCormick was back there. Under 40 to go in this first round match. Boy, you hope Myers, who is now starting to walk over toward the Butler bench on that sideline, able to work through that, walking out under his own weight. This one will roll on a play. Georgie lets it go. You can see this Mountaineers squad has a ton of belief in what they did in the MAC tournament and what they have done today. Again, as a reminder, they've been 7-0 this season when scoring first. They've only had 9 wins this season, 9-8-2. And over the last 4 years, 28-1-0 when scoring at least 2 goals. Here's Logan Lee. Logan Lee ahead to Cabrera. With Myers out, they slide Lettinen back there. And Bulger moves over on that right side even further. You've got the freshman, the true freshman in Perrin Barnes. And there's another look at Reese walking over to the staff. No doubt, incredibly painful. Lee, and we've got a Bulldog player down on the ground. It's Timmer, grabbing onto that right leg. Jared Timmer multiple-year captain for the Bulldogs. He was an all-Big East player in 2016, all-freshman team in 2015. 17 season. Missed due to injury. Broke his leg in the second game against Louisville. Let's see if the Bulldogs can build anything down on the attacking third here, Nick. It's going to be Bulger to throw it in. They'll play it back through Barnes. And Lettinen, who they've been trying to play a little bit more forward. He's been a left back a lot of his time here at Butler. Now sliding more in the center back spot. After Myers departing with the injury. Timmer trying to push forward and has it knocked ajar. Sutton down the right side, Cabrera in front. They're just going to tap it back to Keski. Sutton with a lot of hustle. Off to Kennett. And now Timmer and Sutton back and forth. Let's see the frustration there for Sutton as Jimenez Albeda able to put it back off of Sutton. A run. And quickly knocked away by Lettinen. Robles Grajera trying to seize on an opportunity. He had the first goal of the game. And the second one for West Virginia, Marial Albino.
Game just kind of tightening up here.
Yep.
For a stretch. It's been rather loose and kind of back and forth at times.
This one's sailing. Albert Andres Yop, a senior Spaniard. Had a goal in the semifinal against Western Michigan. Second team all-conference player a year ago, but one of that upperclassmen crew on the back line. He's been at that right back spot. And Lettinen is fouled there as he tried to fight through some traffic. Lettinen a magnet for contact.
Yeah, this game, as we said, it's tightening up, getting a little more physical. We've seen more fouls, more whistles here in the second half.
Here's Bulger. Bulger to Cabrera. Bulger and Cabrera back to have a quick chat. You can see as Cabrera pulls his head back to the sky.
Yeah, you can see Butler just hasn't been able to get that rhythm that we saw for the better part of that first half. Been much more choppy. Haven't been able to have those connections through the midfield. And have yet to really put any pressure on that West Virginia defense.
Haven't really capitalized on that speed advantage either. They've just got one shot on goal. Here's another opportunity. Churchy knocks it wide on the attempt from Robles Grajera.
How about that attempt? I mean, that was on target. Heading towards the side netting of that far post.
Georgie this time pulls it down.
Beautiful save, beautiful parry by Georgie.
Robles Grajera, yeah, exactly right. Textbook. Here's Cabrera. Pass deflected.
Ooh.
And you can see the frustration mounting for the Bulldogs.
And
Derek Sutton
you
pleading.
Can see Sutton saying, you don't react like that unless there maybe wasn't any contact. We'll take a look at it. Minimal contact, if any, there. Spikes were up. I'm sure that's what Official saw.
It'll be a goal kick for the Bulldogs. 2-1, West Virginia leading Butler here in this first round matchup. West Virginia on the board in the first few minutes. Bulldogs able to knot it up. And then later in that first half, West Virginia back on top on a beautiful.
Another giveaway.
Georgie comes out, and that one a little high. You can see.
Yeah,
How about that?
West Virginia just has much more life and energy right now, Mark. Able to get a takeaway deep on their side of the field, a deflection.
It's been all Robles Grajera.
Well, you're right. He's been fantastic, Mark, for the Mountaineers. Been saying his name often.
Just a freshman, Nick, from Spain. A couple of multi-goal games already. Has now 8 goals this season. And this time it's Barnes. Bulldogs just having a difficult time.
Well, and remember, they're doing all this with Reese Myers.
That's right.
Their stout defender. Still trying to work that hip or quad and get it loosened up. And West Virginia taking advantage.
Georgie this time. A little bit of an easier save for him. That time it was Jimenez Albelda. A lot of Spanish flavor on this Mountaineers roster. And this is exactly what's frustrating Coach Snape and company. A couple of the Mountaineers fans wanted to whistle on that one. Here's Timmer. Timmer fending off Andres Yop. And we'll take a look at that first tackle there. Takeda with the ball. Here comes Haywood. And
got a bit of the ball there.
And then Takeda having a conversation there with Shane Butler and referee.
And here's the call. You can see that left hand of Timmer get up near the face, and that's what earned the Mountaineers the free kick. It'll be a throw in here deep in that corner here at the Selleck Bowl.
Andres Yop. And this one far left by Takeda. Closing in on 30 minutes left in regulation. Bulldogs and the Mountaineers. This is where you look to your key players, where you look to your upperclassmen to take over. Timmer draws the foul. Cabrera, Timmer. Haven't seen a lot of activity for Gould in this one. There's Harvey. Lee keeps it alive. Dancing around up that left side of the floor. And now, this has just been the challenge. West Virginia has done a terrific job, Nick, of disrupting the passing lanes. And the Bulldogs will get this back.
Well, they have. They've limited any options that any Butler player in possession has had. And then they've been able to pressure that player in possession. And they've had quite a few takeaways. And then they've been aggressive in trying to attack the goal, haven't they, Mark? They've just...
Robles Grajera, a great example. I mean, every time he's touched it, he's made it difficult. 4 shots, a couple of them on goal, and one going into the back of the net. Letnin Back there, and a little delay as you see Perrin Barnes hop forward. Make sure that shoe was on. Bulger got a clean on it. Andres Yope will take his time up there for West Virginia. They lead by 1. And they have been in control here in the second half. What do you look for here, Nick, for the Bulldogs to try and reset?
I think just have to try and get, you mentioned it. Haven't heard Gould's name much. They've kept Cabrera pretty quiet. He had an early attempt on goal, but those are your guys that Paul Snape has leaned on in situations like this. I'd also, can Reese Myers come back into this game? He's working hard to loosen that injury up on the sidelines. I think that's key to kind of solidify things in the middle defensively if you're the Bulldogs, because it has been all Mountaineers for the most part here in this second half, and was the case the final 8-10 minutes of the first half as well.
Lettinen, nice job back there in the corner. Mountaineers play it back out. This is where they've attacked quickly. Haywood gets in there.
Haywood, another guy that we haven't talked about much, Mark. He's been so good to that midfield throughout this season, quiet as most of the Bulldogs have here in this second half.
Leading distributor, Nick Haywood, 9 assists, time for the most in the Big East. Top 10 nationally. DiMatteo is down.
And give West Virginia credit. They've really done a good job. That high pressure they've really just kept Butler on their heels. Really, ever since they were able to put that second goal in.
And DiMatteo is in a lot of pain on the pitch right now.
Yeah, it looks like he's grabbing that right arm or right shoulder. It's that shoulder, it looks like.
Josh DiMatteo, sophomore. And this West Virginia team, first MAC tournament and championship in program history. You look at 14th NCAA tournament appearance. They've been 6-13 all time. Trying to pick up a win and head back to West Virginia. Take on Marshall, the 11 seed in this tournament. Seen a couple of really tough injuries. There's DiMatteo able to get up and walk over toward the sideline. Josh DiMatteo from Pittsburgh had an assist on that championship game winner
Mountaineer substitution
over Bowling Green.
15, Tony
Named all tournament team.
For 21, Josh DiMatteo.
Big game was in semifinals, a pair of goals. And so with DiMatteo and that injury heading out, Pineda will come in for West Virginia, the sophomore transfer from High Point. There's a look at Sutton. Well, maybe it gives the Bulldogs a second to take a deep breath, regroup.
Yeah, regroup here. 27 minutes to play.
Sutton looking to go up for Gould, and it will be West Virginia. Robles, Grajera, has been the most active, has 4 of the 12 shots for Virginia, or West Virginia, excuse me. The numbers right now are telling the full story. I mean, 12-5 shots advantage for the Mountaineers, 7-1 shots on goal advantage. Georgie's had 4 saves. West Virginia's had 5 corners.
Before we do basketball.
And Butler just with 1. That was where they got that lone goal on. It was Reese Myers.
A beautiful ball from, beautiful service from Joel Harvey on that corner. Again, Reese Myers still trying to loosen that leg injury up.
Here's Sutton. Now the Bulldogs in the attacking third, cross it over. And it's gobbled up by Tukeski. Well, here in the second half, we haven't seen many opportunities even that close.
Yeah, and it looks like for Myers, he was overworking with the training staff, trying to loosen that up. He's now put the jacket on. So by the looks of it, unlikely we'll see him return. That's a tough one for Paul Snape and his staff and his crew.
25 and a half left in this first round matchup of the NCAA tournament. Lettinen back there.
What prompted the change in game?
He's played a much more pivotal role, along with Louis Bolger sliding back to cover for their captain, center back, exiting here in the second half. Ball slides right through the legs of Timmer. Now it's played out. Sutton's got it. Can the Bulldogs counter? Out to Lee. Lee with pressure. Stops on a dime. Mountaineers have been smothering.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they've just pressured again. Really started towards the end of that first half, Mark. They got the goal, and then you could tell they really tried to pick up that pressure, and there's just been no space for Butler to operate when they possess the ball.
Oh, yeah, you would not get good handheld stuff out of these.
And opportunity again for the Mountaineers, deflected by Georgie.
Boy, what a save.
5th save of this game.
Well, and it seems
for
like,
Georgie.
Mark, every ball that's been kind of like this one, right, where there's kind of a scrum and it squirts out, it's all gone towards and in favor of the Mountaineers. And you can see Georgie with a great save. Smothered that near post and then able to get a foot. Tried to be slotted into that far post.
6th corner coming. Timmer all over it.
The Dogs have defended those corners much better. After the first one, we saw just a breakdown in marking as the far post was wide open.
Sorry, shouldn't have just like ignored the last email I got from them when they moved it.
And a lot of work back there for Perrin Barnes this evening. And the Bulldogs without Griffin DeBolt, their sophomore defender, battling injury.
Yeah.
DeBolt, who came up big in the quarterfinals with a goal of the Big East Championship. Out today. And so you've seen with DeBolt out and Reese Myers now out. Lots been called on for Barnes, Bolger, and now Lettinen moving back. One thing to watch for Butler as the frustration mounts in this one, and certainly you want to get back and win this. Haywood is sitting on 7 yellow cards. He cannot afford another one, or he would have to miss the next game. Haywood, the really talented sophomore for Butler. 3rd team all-conference.
And as you would expect, Mark, this NCAA tournament game, a 1-goal game, it has tightened up here in the second half. As that clock has ticked down, it's gotten much more physical. We've seen more whistles, more stoppages, and you would expect that to continue as that clock ticks down, getting closer to just 20 minutes remaining, just over 21 minutes left here at the Selleck Bowl.
Yeah, I did like 2 MTC gigs this fall. Yep.
Mountaineers building numbers. Letting in defensively. Timmer boots it out. Bolger lets it roll out. Crowd looking to bring Butler back into this one, down by 1. First round of the NCAA tournament. All it takes is a moment to help inspire a team fighting back like the Bulldogs. Trailed early, a few minutes in. Played some terrific soccer for the next 20 minutes after tying it up. Mountaineers on the run. Takeda came running up. Andres Yop. Now it's Harvey out on that left side. Brings it up for Haywood.
On those balls switching the field, those long diagonal balls, the Dogs were able to execute early, Mark, and try and spread that West Virginia defense out. As you see there, just not able to execute them here in this second half, and that's why this game has become much more compact. And in turn, West Virginia has been able to steady and slow things down and start to play a more possession-like game.
The one I did last week.
Down by Barnes to keep it in. And this will be a set piece for the Mountaineers.
And a dangerous one at that.
They scored off one early after the handball a few minutes in.
Just a little nudge in the back. Well sold.
Andres Yop in there to attempt, and it flies way high. Cormac and Andres Yop were in there.
Substitution for the Mountaineers, 25, Pascal Tavares. For 9, Rodrigo Robles Grajera. And for the Bulldogs, 13, Logan Lee. For 10, Hemi Nasser.
Logan Lee comes back in for Hemi Nasser.
I don't think he's going to.
Under 18 to go in regulation. Pascal Tavares is back in. You're right. Tavares to the outside. Great move by Timmer. Boy, these upperclassmen at a moment like this.
Hey, you canceled the one tomorrow.
And now you're going to have to see Butler picking up that tempo. The problem is, despite their best intentions, West Virginia has made it incredibly difficult.
No doubt. Give credit to the West Virginia attackers and their ability to pick up that high pressure and keep the ball. The ball's been on this side of the field, it seems like all half, Mark. Butler's just not been able to string it together when there are openings. They just haven't been able to execute it. And that is certainly a byproduct of West Virginia's ability to pressure and just keep Butler uncomfortable throughout. Here's another one.
Just not as connected as they've been, but still plenty of time. Again, if you're just joining us, Reese Myers out with an injury. Got hit in the hip. Ball in the box. Churchy again on the turnaround from Devaric. Georgie now with 6 saves.
Yeah, he's been active. I want to give him credit. Give Harvey credit. You know, there were a couple opportunities early, especially, Mark, where this thing could be far greater than just the 1-goal lead for West Virginia.
Bulger up to Sutton.
I had it.
There's Gould. Haven't said his name too much in the second half. Gould over to Sutton. A touch back to Gould. And an offsides.
Well, the best spell of play we've seen from Butler in quite some time, though. You mentioned it, Gould involved, good possession. Finally moved it up the right side. Just a hair offside. We'll see another look here as Gould made his run. That middle defender, that was looked like that was a questionable one with the flag going up. It wasn't that defender nearest him. It was the mid-central defender that looked like kept him onside.
.14 and a half left in regulation. West Virginia leading Butler 2-1. Andres Yope. And McCormick plays it in. And the Bulldogs will have it on the goal kick.
Substitution for the Bulldogs, 24, Brendan Hicks.
So now you're going to see Hicks come in.
Bulger.
And Bulger is going to sub out. Foul called against Butler. And this one's going to go out. It was Devaric that was trying to secure it. And there is Reese Myers, Nick, who you've been talking about on the right side of your screen.
Yeah, he worked diligently over there with the Butler training staff, trying to loosen that leg up, trying to give himself an opportunity to get back in, and then you could see it just wasn't meant to be. He had to put the jacket on and call it a night. Tough
Haywood up to Gould, but a little too far in front.
We've seen, though, the last couple minutes, Mark, better opportunities. The ball actually getting into the scoring half of the field for Butler. We've also and here's the goal from Myers again on the corner kick. Gets up over the top of the defender and heads it home. And here's what took him out of the game. Out of a 50-50 ball, that knee right to the hip, upper quad area. And he just wasn't able to loosen that up and get himself back out there.
12-18 left in this first round meeting between Butler and West Virginia.
So if Butler
Cool. Up ahead. Here's Cabrera. Cabrera is dangerous. Cabrera back to Timmer. Timmer! No! Knocked off by Tikeski. A big save from Tikeski.
Yeah, it
his
took
first of his game.
Well, kind of an extra touch there. Looked like he may release it here, and that extra touch bought the defender time. Dogs with some life here, though, on the offensive side of the field.
Corner for the Bulldogs. Harvey. And it sailed through. Was it off Cabrera?
It's going to be another corner.
And this will be, you see the left-footed ones, Harvey take, but it'll go back and be the sophomore Jack Haywood. Haywood spins it in. Timmer was up there. And it'll be a goal kick. Last touched off the Bulldogs. Boy, Timmer had that opportunity. A lot of space. And a nice job by Tikeski. Just the second shot on goal in this match for the Bulldogs. 9 on goal of the 14 shots for West Virginia.
Ethan Shim for 14, Subasa Takada. 25,
Takada is subbed out, and Ethan Shim comes in.
And 21,
senior from
Josh
Trinidad.
Mateo for 15, Tony Pineda.
So some fresh legs for the Mountaineers. Boy, and how about that ball right across
Slides.
the face of goal. Dangerous ball.
Another dangerous ball. And this one is in there on the rebound. Put in by DiMatteo, who gets subbed right back in after his injury and puts West Virginia up 3-1.
When the Mountaineers, just when the Bulldogs are still kind of decompressing after a couple opportunities, they come right back down the right side of the pitch.
Harvey.
Beautiful touch back towards the 6. DiMatteo with one attempt. The save by Georgie, but it comes right back to DiMatteo, and he's able to pounce and put it back in.
DiMatteo, who had 2 goals in the semifinal victory over Western Michigan, notches this one in the 80th minute. The third goal of his season
21,
now.
Josh DiMatteo.
It is
In the 80th minute,
all
West Virginia
aggression
leads 3
for the
goals to
Bulldogs
1.
offensively. Down 2 goals, less than 10 minutes to go in the first round of the NCAA tournament. West Virginia again with another opportunity. And Eric Sutton, you can see the frustration, and a yellow has come out.
The official has presented a yellow card to Butler.
This has been what West
Garrett
Virginia's
Sutton.
done all game. What'd you see, Nick?
Well, it looks like on the cutback. Hard to see if there was any contact there, Mark.
Georgie with a stop. Second one through. West Virginia with a 4-1 advantage. Robles Grajera with yet another goal. His second of this match. Robles Grajera with 9 goals on the season. The freshman has been high octane and high impact in this first round matchup.
And another great save from Georgie in goal, but
McCormick.
West Virginia able to pounce on it.
McCormick was lining that up, and
he was, and then all of a sudden the diving header as Robles Grajera able to slide in and get on top of it. But there were about 3 Mountaineers ready to jump on that rebound.
what momentum that West Virginia has built, coming off of 3 wins in the MAC tournament, who advance as the 6th seed after an 0-4-1 conference record. Score early against the Bulldogs, top 25 in the RPI. And you can see the absolute frustration on the whistle. Bulldogs.
Well, and that penalty call.
Credit the Mountaineers
very
goal to
questionable.
number 9, Rodrigo Robles Brajera.
And you can see Logan Lee. Video says it all. And now the Bulldogs with 8:40 remaining in regulation, down 3 goals.
Yeah, if that was happening in the 20, would you be upset?
Bulldogs, just 6 shots in this match, 2 on goal. 18 shots for West Virginia, 13 on goal.
Well, that tells it all, doesn't it, Mark? And this was a game, besides an early goal in the 2nd minute by West Virginia, a handball in the box that led to a penalty kick. Butler really controlled the first 35 or so minutes of the first half. There were some spurts there where West Virginia had some opportunities, but it was Butler possessing the ball, Butler really controlling the middle part of the pitch. And then West Virginia took control.
Robles Grajera up ahead. Georgie with the stop. Georgie's had 8 saves in this match. Yellow card has been called. And you can see Cabrera is frustrated, being held back by Harvey. Logan Lee trying to have a conversation with Shane Butler.
The official has presented a yellow card
Now the
to Butler,
upperclassman and the
number
captain,
9,
Alex
Roland
Lettinen.
Cabrera Jr.
We'll take another look at this one.
Well, Cabrera got the card.
Cabrera is in white. Oh.
You see Cabrera trying to challenge that ball, and then on the follow to Robles Grajera.
Tell you, I'd be upset if I was Cabrera.
Caught him, and yet
that one.
Cabrera ends up with the yellow.
That's what they announced in the stadium.
Well, Cabrera went in with in the air with the clean up, and Shane Butler issuing the yellow card, and that you saw the shot Cabrera took to draw the reaction. But West Virginia with the 4-1 advantage, and you just look over at the Butler staff right now, perplexed as to what's going on. This is a Butler team that has been so resilient this entire season. They've been in so many close matches, have played terrific competition, and had a terrific season, getting the at-large berth. And this one, 5-1. Georgie came out, and West Virginia puts this one on ice.
Well, just a miscommunication there, a breakdown in the back. You can see the Dogs, the deflection there, it bounces back. Just not quite sure. Georgie's coming out to get it. He doesn't get right to the ball.
And DiMatteo again.
And DiMatteo pounces on it.
DiMatteo with his 2nd goal of the match. He had 2 goals in the semifinals of the MAC championship. He takes 2 more here. And DiMatteo, who had that shoulder injury earlier in the match, you can kind of see he's favoring it.
And now he's not. Boy, he did, though, Mark. He took advantage of an opportunity. That ball just tried to kind of poke it away, and it hit off the post. And you're right. He had that injury to that right arm.
Marlon LeBlanc has made some adjustments with this West Virginia team, a team that was without a win in conference play and has gone on a remarkable 3-win run in the MAC first round, or excuse me, in the MAC championship, and now in the first round has picked up a 5-1 advantage over the Bulldogs with less than 6 to play. Logan Lee, this time into Sutton, and at this point, frustration, the Bulldogs.
Well, that play kind of typifies how this night has gone, where the Dogs, Butler, has had some opportunities, just haven't been able to execute on those plays in the box. And West Virginia has taken full advantage of every opportunity. Multiple shots on goal. They've forced Jersey to make saves, and if he hasn't been able to parry them away from the front of the goal, they've been able to pounce on him.
And for the Bulldogs, 23, Maurice Thompson III. For 8, Jack Hayward.
You're right, Mark. West Virginia riding the momentum of the ups and downs of a season. Just a really rough stretch in October where they were allowing goals and kind of uncharacteristically being leaky in the back. And then they've been able to shore that up and change to a more direct, kind of more attacking style. And as they've been able to shore up their defense, they've been able to pour in the goals, and they're riding that momentum of the MAC championship title here tonight at the Selleck Bowl.
Maurice Thompson III checks in for Butler as Haywood is subbed out. And it is quiet inside the Selleck Bowl with this 5-1 West Virginia.
Mark, you just wonder how much that injury to Reese Myers affected the Butler defense. You're talking about your center back, your central defender, your leader in the back there who's communicating, who's directing things.
Well, and that's just it, Nick. It's not even the physical play. He's been there emotionally.
Right?
Yeah,
absolutely. It's the presence. It's your communication back there, your leader in the back who's helping navigate through the trouble. And that certainly had to affect this Butler team without him here for the better part of this second half.
3.5 left. Marshall will be the next stop for West Virginia. An in-state matchup in the second round.
One of always a great rivalry now. It could be an exhibition game between those two programs, and it'd be a heated matchup, and now you put the added pressure of an NCAA tournament game.
And you think about the Bulldogs, Nick, you think about some of their outstanding seniors played such a big role in this program. It's a program that missed the NCAA tournament last year after back-to-back years, 2016 and 17, and now 19 getting back. It's the 9th NCAA tournament, a 3rd at-large berth for the Bulldogs. Cabrera, a remarkable freshman from Bogota, Colombia.
Well, you're right, though.
Just think about the guys like Timmer and Gould, even though he didn't play, originally transferred from SMU, but 3 seasons here, and the impact, Sutton, Lettinen, the list goes on and on for those Bulldogs.
Just a fantastic career. Ended up 8th all-time in Butler history in goals scored. And the future is bright for this Butler Bulldog crew, as we mentioned, with Cabrera, your Big East Freshman of the Year.
And a phenomenal staff, and Paul Snape, Adam Brew, Jason Perry, Knopfler, and grad assistant this year, and David Goldsmith. They've done a terrific job leading the Bulldogs into a very difficult Big East conference. You know,
it was a gauntlet.
Big East, you know, on the national scene, you get 4 teams in there. Georgetown, the prowess they've had this season, 1 point ranked atop, and St. John's, Providence, and Butler. Plenty other teams in there. Bulldogs had to fight their way through the field to get that at-large berth and finish top 25 in the RPI.
And the Bulldogs kind of weathered the storm early and then were able to take care of business as that schedule kind of lightened up, and still lost some tough ones late in the season on the road, but then were able to kind of revenge those losses.
1 minute remaining in the game.
Creighton showed well against Georgetown in the Big East tournament semifinal to earn the right here to play tonight, but just wasn't enough against the surging West Virginia crew.
Surging is exactly right. You credit the Mountaineers in this one. An early goal a few minutes in. They took the lead back toward the end of the first half, and then really just extended the lead based on continual nonstop pressure. 21 shots, 15 shots on goal for West Virginia, just 6 shots and 2 on goal for the Bulldogs in this one.
Ten, 9, 8, 7.
Paul Snape walks over, shakes hands with Marlon LeBlanc. Coach LeBlanc, fresh off a MAC Conference championship, and they will advance to take on Marshall, the 11 seed in the second round, a battle in West Virginia.
And Butler 1. Congratulations.
You see DiMatteo, 2 of the 5 goals playing through injury, and he finished to cap off with a pair. Robles Grajera, an outstanding game as well, and the Mountaineers are victorious in Indianapolis 5-1. Well, what a match it was, Nick.
Yeah, just a fantastic battle here in the NCAA tournament. It started off quickly with the early handball, the PK, just over 2 minutes into the match, and it was off and running. The Dogs showed resiliency. Georgie was active in goal all night. Reese Myers with the lone goal for the Dogs.
West Virginia, a 5-1 victory over the Butler Bulldogs. They are headed home. A battle with Marshall in the second round on Sunday in the NCAA tournament. You've been watching the Big East Digital Network. For Nick Gardner, I'm Mark Minner, signing off from Indianapolis.